lifestyle designers. This is EJACULATE, and I had a request from someone to make a specific type of elixir that was designed to be replenishing to male sexual fluids. So if you've just gone on a spree of spreading or sowing your wild oats, I could say, this is a great way to provide your body with all the specific nutrients, at least the ones that are in the highest concentrations, in seminal fluid. And I haven't forgot about the ladies. In the near future I will definitely do an elixir recipe that's designed for replenishing female sexual fluids, which is the menses, after menstruation, of course. And that'll be different tailored herbs, different tailored whole drink and strategy for the female anatomy as compared to the male anatomy, which is, when it comes to sexual fluid, obviously very different in composition. So we've got about a cup of milk here, or a cup and a half roughly, and I'm going to add tea base that I just made to this, and you can see me making it right here. Here I've got some tea brewing for the tea base for the drink I'm going to be making, and it's all Chinese herbs in this one. The main herb is, of course, huchu, my all-time favorite. And then we've also got some poria, which is those white long things you see there. It's a type of mushroom that grows at the base of a tree, and it's very drying and absorbs excess moisture in the digestive tract, or the spleen as it's known in Chinese medicine, and that helps offset the slight negative effects of Rehmannia, which is also in this concoction. And the Rehmannia can have a bit of an excess dampening effect on the spleen, whereas it does have good yin-jing tonic properties, so the poria there helps balance the Rehmannia out. And then there's also some Eucommia bark, which is a yang-jing tonic. So this is a primarily Jing tea blend. We've also got some two astragalus roots in there, or sort of the cuts of the roots. So there's just the 5 herbs in here, and that's serving as the Jing replenishing tea base for this elixir that we're going to be making. And so here we go. It's been simmering for about 40 minutes. I let it cool down a little bit, so it's not going to still steaming, but it's not going to cook or destroy our fresh raw milk that I've got in the blender here. So we're adding about 2 cups, or up to the point where it gets to 3 cups, so maybe it's more like a cup and a half. I always have to find a little thing on the side here to make sure I'm adding the right amount. And it's a really dark, rich color from the Rehmannia, which is great. Very building for the blood, which is essential if you've become depleted in that way. So essentially, according to some of the ancient herbal and healing traditions, they recognize that semen is made from blood, and that you need to build the blood first to build this Jing energy in the form of sexual fluid. So actually, this herbal tea base could be applied to both female or male sexual fluid replenishing. However, I'd tweak a few things probably differently in a female recipe, and again, I'll just do that at a future date. So the first thing we're going to add is the solid ingredients that need to be broken up because they're the coarsest, and we'll do 2 blends like I always do. And this is pumpkin seeds. Got 2 tablespoons that I soaked in water overnight, drained, and they've just been sitting in the fridge all day. And they're very high in zinc, and zinc is in very high concentrations in seminal fluid, not so much the sperm themselves, although it's used in the production of the sperm, and in the production of testosterone, which is linked to the production of sperm. However, zinc in the production of the actual seminal fluid is what makes it so white. So one way to know that you're a little bit deficient in zinc is if you start getting white spots on your nails as the nails grow out. And you can get that white mark on your fingernails if you've got your fingers caught in a door, or you bang them with a hammer or something like that lightly. Obviously if it's black it's going to be a little bit of a harder bang, but you know that look on your nail that is a little white speckle. And if you have a lot of them, it means you probably have an ongoing zinc deficiency. If you have one somewhere on your hand, you probably jammed it at some point without realizing, or banged against something. However, yeah, zinc will get rid of that. And also, if you're a guy and you're aware of this, if your semen color is not white, if it's slightly off-white or yellow, and it's naturally going to be a bit of a whitish gray, but if it's not white enough, or white as it usually is, you could be deficient in zinc as well. So we're going to add these seeds in here. Pumpkin seeds I really don't use that much, but I really want to get into the habit of using them daily, and using them in drinks like this is a great way. Just because they're such a great source of zinc. They have vitamin K in them, which is pretty unique. They're a complete protein. Not many people know that. Just like hemp seed and chia seed. The reason I don't get in the habit of using it is because you have to soak them, because they do have enzyme inhibitors on them, whereas hemp seed and chia seed don't have enzyme inhibitors, so you don't need to worry about that. And we are going to add 1 tablespoon of chia seed to this just for the extra protein. Some plant-based omega-3s, so the ALA, which is the short-chained omega-3s. And it helps gel up the drink, which makes it thicker, and slows down the absorption of all the herbal components in this drink. This is also a pre-workout drink for me, so I'm also going to tailor it towards giving me enough energy and calories and protein to sustain me for that workout. I'm going to be doing it in about a half hour here. Now, I normally sweeten my drinks with honey. However, if it's later in the day and it's the evening going on night here, I use dates. And that is actually because I rarely choose to ejaculate. That's just my own personal practice, and I don't recommend that unless you're engaging in some sort of sexual kung fu practice or qigong. And honey has a very dampening downward energy, and it can actually increase rates of premature ejaculation, ejaculation at night, which is wet dreams and other things. So yes, I do consume honey, but I do it earlier in the day. I don't do it, definitely not right before bed, and I try not to do it past, say, 4 o'clock. So in a drink this size, I usually just put 4 dates in. And dates, yeah, they have more fiber than honey, obviously, but still very usable in terms of sweetness, in terms of actually getting that drink up there without adding too much bulk. I wouldn't want to put a mango in this, for instance. Last thing we're going to do just for this first blend is a tablespoon of bee pollen. And this is very high in a variety of trace minerals, which are excellent for seminal fluid. I'm going to post below this video a whole list of everything that's contained in this male semen, and you can see that it's a very complex substance, and if you're deficient in any of those things, your body's going to pull it from the tissues throughout your body to provide for the semen. So once you're depleted throughout your body, then your semen's going to start to be depleted, and you're headed downhill from that point on. So one way of preserving these things is to not ejaculate as much. It's something I recommend for all men. If you're not doing those practices to withhold seminal fluid safely and healthfully, you're going to want to look at a program such as the one recommended by Dr. Sun Simiao from China. Lived to be 101. I forget the exact date of when he was alive, but you can look, search his name online. Here's his name right here. And he recommended, and by the way, this is a rough reiteration of it, that if you're basically a teenager, you can ejaculate twice a day, and any more than that, you're going to start depleting yourself. If you're, 18 to 23 or 25, I think he said, maybe go down to 1 a day. And then if you're 25 to 35, you're going to want to start doing it like maybe once every 2 days. 35 to 45, or even 50, once or twice a week. After that, you're going to be wanting to do it once every few weeks. And of course, after that, you're going to be wanting to do it once every couple months, then maybe once a year. And after, I think he said after the age of 70 or 80, you don't want to do it at all. And you really have to be the judge of this yourself. If you're finding to get really tired after ejaculating, even for a day or two afterwards, you're going to want to look at halting it for a while. Go on a period of abstinence so that you can rebuild these properties within yourself. And then you're also going to have to take into account that in the winter you're probably going to want to ejaculate less than you would in the summer, because the body naturally goes into this sort of hibernation mode where it's preserving and sort of barricading itself up to sustain itself through the slightly depleting winter. So we're going to zip it up here. So that's a good amount. Blend time. We're going to add a dash of kelp. It's just more minerals, and I do this in all my drinks just for thyroid health. Getting the iodine in. About an 1/8 or a 16th of a teaspoon. Don't want to do too much, you can throw the flavor, obviously. It's got tastes a bit like the ocean. I'm going to add some colostrum, about a tablespoon. Got a little bit at the bottom here. Let's see if it's actually a tablespoon's worth. Yeah, I've got a tablespoon there. And this is full of growth factors, very building to testosterone especially, and all of the other anabolic androgenic hormones that we're going to want to give a little boost to, because these do drop a little bit when we have ejaculated. So right now you get a deal on colostrum and other products that SurThrive is carrying. If you go to the SurThrive website, the link below, then you can check out the products, get anything you want. And at the checkout, if you enter the coupon code YULE, Y-U-L-E, this is good until the end of January, but you get 15% discount on your purchase. So it's time to load up for sure, I would say. And colostrum can come in a 1 kilo container such as that, so you can get a 6.5 ounce tub, which is about this size. And that's, basically, in my opinion, that's just to try it out if you haven't tried it yet and you want to know how it works with you. Or if you're using it on a very small scale, in terms of taking small amounts every day, that would also be an adequate size. And if you happen to live in the Guelph area, you can pick these up from me directly. Guelph, Kitchener-Waterloo, even Toronto. And you know where I live. You can get this as well as some other things from me, such as the elk antler velvet and some of herbs of varying types. And I've got a link below to a Facebook page I created for this. I'm calling it the Secrets of Longevity Corner Store. You can come by and pick stuff up at my house if you're wanting to try any of these things that I use for my own bodybuilding program as well as health maintenance. I'm going to add a scoop of whey powder because I am going to the gym, and the extra protein is really good for building seminal fluid, as is well known. Semen is largely protein and minerals and fats, and I'll get to the fats in a moment, but whey powder has also some healing sugars, which are healing to the body in general, not so much for sexual fluid, but it's got a complete protein profile, obviously, and it's great for quickly getting into the bloodstream and replenishing these things if you've been engaging in excessive ejaculations. Another thing we're going to put in, and I've talked about this before, is 1 raw egg. It's actually in the pornography industry, the male porn stars use raw eggs to increase their ejaculate volume, so they can actually get larger cum shots by consuming large amounts of raw eggs. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that because, one, you're going to be depleting yourself of minerals by excessively ejaculating a lot all the time. But if you haven't engaged in an ejaculation, taking 1 or 2 raw eggs afterwards would be a quick way of replenishing those fluids. Because if you think of the consistency of the egg white, it's quite intuitive that you would notice the consistency similarities in how the albumin can be easily, which is a very easily digestible protein, can be broken down and reassembled to help build the composition of the semen itself, which is the carrier for the sperm. Now, of course, there's also the egg yolk, which has the cholesterol, vitamins A, a little bit of D, and some other things, which is, again, building overall to the hormones and the tissues of the body. Just to quickly also mention the herbs I used in the drink. One of them in particular was Hoshiwu and the tea base. That's very high in zinc as well, so we're getting a load of zinc with the Hoshiwu combined with the pumpkin seeds. The Romania would also have a little bit of zinc, not as much, but has other blood-building properties, high in iron. Hoshiwu is also high in iron. You're also going to get the Yang Jing, which is hormonally boosting properties from the Eucommia bark. The astragalus root, which really helps with posture and building energy levels, which helps counteract the feelings of fatigue after ejaculating, because it's really sort of commonly known that men just get tired. They fall asleep right after ejaculating, and it's sort of seen in traditional medicine systems that men that do this too much obviously become fatigued individuals who can't excel in their work life. And yeah, so astragalus can definitely counteract those negative effects by sort of giving your body an extra boost of energy without the stimulation that a caffeinated or harsh stimulant would do that's going to affect the adrenals in a negative way. So you saw me add a bit of stevia in there just to add a bit more sweetness to this. Possibly the dates might not be enough. I really probably should have blended it first and then tasted it, because I have made it too sweet before, because the dates do add a good amount of sweetness. The last ingredient we're going to add here is spirulina. It does contain some unique fatty acids which are going to be very replenishing to male sexual fluid, and I'll just briefly describe these. But prostaglandins are an essential component of seminal fluid and also very high in the male body. I believe human males have the highest prostaglandin content in their body compared to any other animal, and humans in general have the highest, but men have it multiple times higher than females. And this helps combat inflammation and other things. And my own personal theory, I'm not sure exactly how certain this is in terms of being a theory that's accepted in mainstream anthropology or evolutionary biology, but I believe because males traditionally have been more active in being sort of the hunters and sort of being more in the lines of being the warrior or defender of the village or the community, where more of the females were inhabiting, they had these prostaglandins which helped combat the wear and tear that their bodies accrued to a greater degree than the females. So a large amount of prostaglandins get released through the ejaculations, and females actually have receptors to absorb these in the vagina, and this actually gives them an immune and healing boost to their body, which is sort of a factor in helping get them ready for pregnancy. Of course, this is at the detriment of the male, and nowadays when people use condoms and ejaculate in other places rather than inside females, there's naturally going to be somewhat of a wastage of these prostaglandins, and in my opinion it's better to keep them inside you, but if you are obviously ejaculating from time to time, it would be good to replenish them. So prostaglandins are largely made out of 3 fats as well as some other minerals, which we probably have already covered with the other things we put in here, but they're made of EPA, AA, which is arachidonic acid, and GLA, which is guanolinolenic acid. Spirulina contains all 3, that's why I think it's the ideal thing to take for this. It also has DHA. So EPA and DHA are the long-chain omega-3s that a lot of people think you need to get from fish. However, they're also very heat sensitive, so when you fry a fish on the stove, you're getting a very carcinogenic oil in your body. And so we're going to add about a half a tablespoon here. I'm just going to shake it in gently because it's got a funny consistency. It could all pour out all at once. Don't want to get too much because of that strong flavor. That's about all I'm going to use. It's also extremely high in protein. Spirulina is anywhere from 60 to 75% protein. Highest whole food plant source of protein on the planet. So it's a food I use in salad dressings largely. I'm going to get into the habit of using it daily. Just mixing it with water because I have a powder here. And taking that sort of in the morning, that would be an ideal way to take it because I've tried it in different recipes. It's difficult. Salad dressings, I find it doable if you're not in public eating it. Sometimes in a smoothie, but you know it can also throw the flavor of the smoothie. So it's going to have a very muddy look to it with that brown color from the tea and all the other ingredients. I'm going to zip it up. So there we go. Let's pour myself some to try, see if I got it right. That is interesting. It's not massive on the good flavor side, but it's palatable. I can drink this, I can enjoy it even. Obviously serves a good purpose, and I think it would be good to follow a recipe similar to this. You're obviously not necessarily going to have every single ingredient the same, but you get the point and the idea behind designing a drink for this purpose. And again, you can find all those ingredients below if you need to search some of them out yourself. And same with the herbs that I use for the tea, you can get links for those below as well. And good luck in your endeavors, and embrace life without limits.